So welcome everybody to a new Human Experience podcast. Today is April the 1st, 2021. So happy April the 1st. We got here April, a year into our I call this our global social re-engineering experiment. So you can call it whatever you want, but that label came to me. And just want to back up a little bit. The topic for this evening is oneness. Actually, the topic for this whole month and for as long as I have material to cover, the theme is going to be oneness. And why oneness? Because why not? Um, it's been like we just got over the 1 year mark of this global social re-engineering experiment that we've been in. And actually, I want to dedicate April and well, at least for a couple of weeks anyways, to really integrate this experience and clarify or chart a new course for myself and also hopefully for all of humanity, or as much of humanity as I can persuade to go towards a new course of or a new course of a new human experience. So oneness. Why oneness? Because there's been a couple of names that came to me. One of the other names that I was considering using was actually crucible, meaning that this is really uh, it's kind of like a trial by fire. It's like a test, and everybody's being going through a pressure cooker time to really let go of things that does not belong to the mm, does not belong in the future for us. So however, I settled more on oneness because it is, depending on how you look at it, this could be a tough time, or it could be an absolutely freeing and um, simply empowering time as well. It all depends on perspective. So, oneness at first glance may be the kind of the furthest thing that we can get out of all the current situation where there is so much polarity and chaos is kind of a lot of things are in flux, in chaos right now. So how do we how can I how can we possibly think that oneness can come out of it? This may be a valid question, a valid and a year ago I would certainly have agreed with anyone who believed that oneness is the furthest away from what it is that we are trying to do. However, during this last year I have grown a lot, and I have changed a lot. Maybe not on the outside. I'm on the outside, I may not look any different, but I think within I do feel very different. How I look at the world and how I look at myself is very different. And so I think in this next couple of episodes, I would really want to share with you, all of you, kind of the what is happening, and also how to really go with the flow. Because I right now, after all the changes that I felt, internal changes that I felt, that in this moment, I really totally can see that within the grand scheme of things, that we definitely are moving back to oneness. It may take us a while to get there. However, I have no doubt that we are heading in that direction. And why do I have this trust? Because I think in the last year I've come to, maybe I think a lot of it is because the the last year I've been really working on letting go of the remnants of our engineered or inverted matrix. So that's what I've been working on, is really letting go of the inverted matrix and dropping off as much as I can so that I have more access to my own essence. And I think because I've done that, so I actually got to the point where I'm beginning to trust the process now, because I do feel very different. And I do have this insight that, why are we going back to oneness? Because oneness is something that is innate, and also unconditional love. This feeling of connection is actually a lot more tangible and innate. And a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, I like, for me, unconditional love is something that I strive for, that I think I have to work hard at. And now I really come to understand that unconditional love is innate. It's not something that I have to work hard. What I have to work hard is letting go of all the other thoughts that is clouding and burying the oneness and the unconditional love that is innate within me. And so let's look let's get back to taking a look at what all this, all in Toronto we are talking about. Actually, we are definitely heading towards the third lockdown. And so we are locked down in isolation. So how come underneath all this lockdown and isolation, that more so than ever, I do feel that oneness is is not just where we're heading, that it is inevitable. It's because all this lockdown and isolation gave each and every one of us an opportunity to go within. And I know myself, and probably most other people as well, is that normally there are so many things that we try to do to live a normal life. What is considered a normal life, we are all chucking along and doing pretty much the same, maybe in our own unique ways, but we are all trying to live a normal life. And I say normal, but normal within quotation, because um it's really not quite normal, or I should say it's not natural. Not that it's not normal, but that it's not natural. It's not natural to us. And because of this interruption, that we all have a chance to really go inside and take a look at and question what life is all about as we know it. And that's really all it's going to take for our soul, because that is really the crack in a doorway that our soul has always been looking for, in order to get our attention and to start to communicate and guide us. And I think all of this isolation and lockdown actually is the crack of what seems normal in our life, has provided our soul. And so I would say much more importantly now than ever, our soul actually has more of our attention. I i don't know what everyone else's journey may take them on. I can only share what it is that I have felt and what I've gone through in this year. And so I want to maybe start off this month of the theme of oneness is to really talk about some of the things that from where I'm standing really gives me hope, gives me trust, and really gives me, I would say, an unshakable knowing that, yeah, we're going to be all right. And so the first thing I would like to share, or the things that I have transcended in the last year, is that I have let go of spiritual superiority. So spiritual superiority is something that I think someone like me, like a light worker, or really is it's one of the hazards, because spirituality is a big, it's a big part of my life for at least the past 10-15 years. And I really took great pleasure in being spiritually superior, for lack of a better word. It's because I would pretend anyways to that everything is, I'm trying to be as spiritual as I care to be, to do my best to really be, to take the high road, to look at spirit, and really and also I think the downside is I did not value my body very much. I did not value just normal life. For me, it's like spirituality, spirituality, spirituality. And that's not a very balanced life. And so that's why the past year, for me, it's like it really gave me a different take on what that program of spiritual superiority has cost me. And that I am much more aware of um, seeking balance to take care of my body, really come to respect my body for the beautiful tool, the beautiful vessel that it is. And because of that, because of this realization that there that the spirit, yes, our soul is part of it's an important part of life. However, it's not all there is. There are other parts that are equally as beautiful and equally as much a a part of, or an integral part of source as the spirit. The body is really is also a part of source. And if we think of the spirit as being superior and the body is not as worthy as the spirit, then it's really, it still takes us out of oneness. And I think because of this realization that I have a much more balanced view of life itself, and I have a much more balanced view of the journey of souls, in that there was no mistake whatsoever for my soul to come here on earth to have a body, to experience what having a body means, and all the wonderful experiences, and also the all the horrible experiences that comes with having a body. So now they are wonderful and horrible simply from a certain perspective. They are all just different experiences. And I've really gotten to I'm gotten much better at taking care of my body and listening to my body and really honoring the body, not just my own body, but also like this the human part, the physicality of this playground is really something that I have a very um, different respect for. And I've also come to realize that it is part of our soul's journey, part of our soul's plan to by coming to earth and on this playground at this particular time, that there is that my soul really has a plan and a role for us to play. And I say play, um like I mean play very, very seriously. And I say that tongue in cheek, is that um we are actually here to play a role. Everyone of us are here to play a role. What that role is, it really depends on what the soul is trying to achieve, what the soul wants and needs to experience, to add to the richness of that soul. And the soul has its plan, and there is no such thing as a small role. Even this extras, extras are people that don't have an individualized soul. And I think before I would have said, I would have thought that, extras, they don't really matter. They don't even have a soul. So it it used to be, I think of, soul as being the superior, really the superior kind of being, and bodies are not important. Whereas now, after a year, now that more of that inverted matrix and engineered matrix has dropped off, I have gotten a much better understanding that everything, not just the souls, not just the cosmic souls, not just the earth-bound soul that we call entity, whether we have an individualized soul or not, that does not make anyone less than anyone else. Each and every one, whether we have an individualized soul or not, even if we don't have a soul, even if, let's say, a piece of rock that does not have a soul, but it's still an emanation of the creator source. And because of that, they're still important. They're still beautiful, something to be enjoyed, something to be loved. So that really is, I would say that I have a much better understanding of what oneness is, um, and also a much better grasp of what oneness and unconditional love is. And so I'm really glad to have let go of spiritual superiority. I'm not saying that, it's done, I'm 100% good. I'm just saying that I'm absolutely, I'm looking out for that, to like, I know that it's there, and I do my best to really let go of any remnants of that program of spiritual superiority. And the next thing that I would like to say that I have, because of this year, that I have this unique opportunity to really look within, to um, to let go of, because the outside circumstances just made it much easier for me to do that, is that I have also made some really good inroad into letting go of my need to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist, and I know it. I just thought that, oh, I have to be perfect. And whereas now, I think after a year of being in my pajamas most of the time, and just being, or maybe if not pajamas, at least casual clothes, most of the time, and most of the time, I don't really see anyone other than myself, and it's just so happened that I have a few other housemates, but other than that, I haven't really have too much interaction outside with the outside world. So it really gave me a very great opportunity to let go of, and really take a look, a really good look at, that my need to be perfect. Now, as a lot of things is really grouped into this, is that, so the ways that I try to be perfect is I always try to be right. I always want to be in the light. I fashion myself to be a light worker. I always do my best to be right, and I would prepare so much, not because I enjoy the preparation, but because I want to be right. I have this need, driven by fear, shame, and whatever other lovely programs that's underneath there, to be perfect and to be right. And I think within this year, I really have was able to drop a lot of that, and I have a much better understanding of that need within myself. And yeah, it has been a colorful ride, that seeking perfection. I call it my ego's Ponzi scheme, because there is no such thing as perfection. What is perfect, from one point of view, is absolutely imperfect from another point of view. So the 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 intention to be perfect is really is it's not a win-win situation. And so I'm glad to let go of that. And I'm also, um, I wouldn't say I'm letting go of duality, but I'm really making my way through that. And why would I say that? Is duality is about good and evil, black and white, and right and wrong, and all that. However, I'm beginning to really understand the, I would say, the logic of not needing to be in the extremes, not needing to be black, and not needing to be white, not needing to be light, and not needing to be dark. Is, I think, um, I'm actually much more so now than before, to suspend judgment, and simply allow myself to look at things just as the way they are, without trying to put on a label of, okay, this is right and this is wrong, or that this is good, this is bad. It's just, it's really not being attached to the labels, and really starting to look at things as they are, rather than as labels that I have to have a label for them so that I know where to put them. Is that I don't need to put them anywhere. They no, like they are the way they are, and not needing to put on my judgment on something that is maybe beyond needing my judgment. So I think that's what I mean by needing to be and letting go of the need to be perfect. Is as there's a lot of other things that goes along with that as well. And the other, like, so two things I've let go of, and I think the third one is kind of an out. Um, the third one is really letting go of my own identity. I think recently we at Seafood James, there's a workshop with Seafood James. Is we go into wholeness and we lose our own identity. Of course, I'm nowhere near that, but I am really getting. I think because of the inverted matrix being dissolved, is that, and the ego is kind of breaking down as well. Is that I'm not as attached to who I thought I was before anymore. And I think all this isolation also really helped, because whereas before I would have to, see certain people and be certain persona for them, I'm much more comfortable to be who I am, no matter where, no matter who I'm with and where I am. So that's what I mean by letting go of my own identification. Um, yes, I still have a name. I still remember that for now, and who knows? Mm, Maybe one day I would change my name too. But for now, I'm not as I don't fight as hard to hang on to those identity, to that identity, I would say. So those are for me the reasons why it gives me hope. It really gives me, like, now that the Toronto is into the third lockdown announcement, and it's going to take effect in on Saturday. It's not here yet, so in a day or two it'll come. um the first lockdown, when it was announced, I was not happy. In second lockdown, I was totally devastated. But now this time, the third one, I'm like, okay, let's see how much more ground, or how much more of that inverted matrix I can drop off now, how much more um, of that I would be able to work on and really let go of. And so this time around, it's like I'm actually feeling happy that we are here, and I'm actually seeing so much more and feeling so much more of myself, my true essence, not the old me. It's really is something else, someone else that's emerging, that is emerging from all of this, from letting go of the old constructs. And if this is what's happening inside me, then I know that this is going to reflect out, and I would start to see that in my outward environment as well. And I want to share this with all of you, because I know we all on similar journey. I wouldn't say same journey because I can't really speak for you. I can only speak for myself. But I'm sure that who whatever journey that you're on, that this past year has really impacted you. How it has impacted you, I don't know. And I think this is something that we really all should should really give thanks to, because if you because I've known for a while that um we are moving into the fifth dimension. This, yeah, because I've been preparing for moving into fifth dimension. I don't know how, because in 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had no concept of how humanity is going to do that. Who knows that we all co-created this, absolutely, this global social re-engineering experiment. So, and this is what we have all created. We could have done differently, and in other timelines we might have done differently, but what I'm seeing now is, I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I cannot wait for more to come. So that is all I would like to share with you this evening. And